All right, today we're cracking open a box that's just packed with winter, wonder, and, well, a little bit of warfare. We're going to break down exactly how to play Narnia Risk Jr., a game where the fate of Narnia literally rests on your shoulders and maybe just a little bit on your dice rolls. You ready? Let's get into it.
It's that classic line, right? Always winter and never Christmas. That single sentence sets up the entire game. The land is frozen, things look pretty grim, but Aslan's on the move. And in this explainer, we're going to show you exactly how you can join the good guys, take on the White Witch, and finally break that nasty spell. So, the battle lines are drawn, and it's pretty clear who's who. You've got Aslan's side, Peter, Susan, Lucy, all the heroes, and a bunch of awesome creatures like centaurs and fauns. Then, on the other side, you've got the White Witch and her seriously scary crew. Now, here's the cool part. One of you gets to be the bad guy, the White Witch. Everyone else, you're teaming up as Aslan's army to bring her down. All right, a land in winter. So, with all these armies on the board, what's the goal of the game? What are we actually trying to do here? So, how do you win? Well, you've got two ways to do it. Path number one is the classic Risk way, total domination. Just wipe the other side off the map completely. Easy, right? Or there's a second path. You can play it smart and rack up what are called crown points. See, if nobody manages to take over the whole board by the end, the game's not a draw. Instead, whoever has the most crown points gets to be the new High King or Queen. So you can win with brute force or with strategy. Answering Aslan's call. Setting up the board. Okay, before we can get to the fighting, we got to get the battlefield ready. Let's talk setup. Okay, first things first. Someone's got to volunteer to be the bad guy, the White Witch. Everyone else, you're on Team Aslan. You'll pick your color and a character to lead your armies. But here's a fun little detail. Some of the big-name characters, like Aslan himself, actually start off the board. They're kind of waiting in the wings to make a dramatic entrance later. All right, next up, we figure out who owns what. You're going to shuffle the territory cards and deal them out. Now, the White Witch player gets a little bit of a head start. They get 13 cards. The rest are split among Aslan's side. Then, you put 2 of your basic troops on every territory you own. That's fawns for the good guys, boggles for the witch. And here's a really important step. Pick one of your territories to be your camp. This is your home base, your headquarters. You'll stick a stronger unit there to beef up its defense, either a centaur or a minotaur.
Okay, now for what I think is the coolest part of this game, the Narnia card deck. This isn't just some random deck you draw from. No, it's actually built to tell the story of the book. It's specifically set up to create like 3 acts for your game, and each one ends with a big scoring moment. It's really clever.
And here's how you actually build that story deck. You take out the 3 big scoring cards first, then you split the rest of the cards into 4 piles. You shuffle one scoring card into a pile, another into the next, and so on. Then you stack them up in a specific order. So what you're doing is making sure the game follows the book's plot. You'll go through the always winter phase, then you'll get that glimmer of hope with Father Christmas, and it all builds to the big finale with the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe card. It's such a great way to control the game's pacing.
A turn in Narnia, the 5 steps of gameplay. The board is set, the story is ready to unfold. So how does a turn actually work? It's simple, really. Every single turn has 5 steps.
And here they are. You're going to want to get familiar with these 5 steps because this is the loop for the whole game. Step 1, draw a Narnia card. Step 2, draw a territory card. 3, place your armies. 4, battle. And 5, score your points. That's it. Story, territory, armies, battle, points. Every single time. But wait, who goes when? At the beginning of each round, you'll flip over a turn order token. It's random. Now check this out. There's a built-in advantage for the good guys. The witch has 5 tokens, but Aslan's side has 6. It's a small edge, but it can make a huge difference. Once all 11 tokens are flipped, you just turn them all back face down and start a new round.
The tide of battle. How to fight for Narnia. Okay, let's get to the good stuff. Combat. This is where the magic happens, where you're gonna win or lose the game. Let's break down how it all works. So, you just drew a territory card. And guess what? It belongs to the enemy. That means you have to attack it. No choice. So, now what happens? It's all about rolling dice. If you're the attacker, you get to roll 3 red dice. The defender? They only get 2 black dice. Pretty simple, right? The attacker has a built-in advantage with that extra die. So what are you trying to roll? A 5 or a 6 is a hit on one of their basic troops, a fawn or a boggle. But if you roll a 6, that's even better. You can use it to hit a basic guy, or you can take out one of their big hitters, a centaur or minotaur. Now listen up, because this is super important. The defender always rolls first. That means they get a chance to knock out some of your attackers before you even get to roll. It's a huge defensive advantage.
Now, it's not always 3 dice against 2. There are some special situations. If you're trying to attack an enemy camp, their home base, or if your attack has to cross water, things get tougher. For those attacks, you lose 1 of your dice. You only get to roll 2. That makes those big assaults a lot more risky.
Crowning the High King, scoring points and winning the game. So fighting is fun, but what's the point? Well, it's all about scoring crown points. Let's see how all that battling actually helps you win.
So the main way you're going to score points is just by beating enemy troops. Every time you take out 5 of their little guys or 3 of their big guys, you get a point. You basically collect the defeated pieces, and when you hit that magic number, you cash them in, give the pieces back to your opponent, and move your little token 1 space up on the crown point tracker. Simple as that.
Want a bigger payout? Go after their camp. Remember that home base they set up? If you can successfully conquer that territory, you get an instant bonus of 2 crown points. That's huge. It makes taking out enemy camps a major goal for the entire game.
Okay, remember those special story cards we talked about earlier? Well, when you draw one of those, the whole game pauses. It's time for a big scoring round. Here's what happens. First, everyone gets 2 points for every camp they still have on the board. Then, you do a quick count. Which side controls more territories, Aslan or the Witch? Whichever side has the most land, every single player on that team gets a whopping 5 crown points. This can completely swing the game in your favor.
And that's pretty much how you get to the end of the game. It's going to end in one of 2 ways. 1, somebody completely takes over the entire map, total domination, game over. Or 2, the story deck runs out, and you draw that final card, the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. When that happens, you do one final scoring round, count up all your crown points, and whoever has the most is the winner.
So, when that final card gets drawn, what's it going to be? Will Narnia be stuck in eternal winter forever? Or are you going to be the one crowned its new High King or Queen? The only way to find out is to play.